Honestly, this video could have and should have come out a lot sooner, but ironically it's been taking me a while since I've been busy with college, playing other games, and anime Vanguards. But I thought, screw it, I might as well cover everything that I've been up to prior to the anniversary from the past month, and the anniversary update itself. So if you haven't checked out my first video and you have some free time, you might be interested in watching just to see what happened last time and be up to speed. But basically, I don't like anime games. I haven't for years because of the grind and RNG involved in basically all of them. But I gave AV a fair shot and was surprised by how much I actually enjoyed myself. It was fun, it was alright, and I will admit that a good chunk of this though was due to me playing with my friends.
You roll off something.
Oh, what is that?
Shit, my first monarch, yo!
I don't inherently think that's a negative, but I do think that if something is only enjoyable with friends, I probably don't actually like the game that much. So okay, my friend proved to me that it could be fun, but now it's AV's turn. My friends are not always going to be here to play the game with me, so the game itself now has to show me that the grind is worth doing, or show me that it can still be fun even without other people. And after a full 2 months of playing, were they able to prove it to me? Well, I guess? I haven't really formed any new opinions. The ones I already have are basically just intensified. Last time I said that summoning is not that bad in this game, and now I think it's just an inconvenience whenever it's needed, but for the most part, summoning is not really something you deal with. Last time I mentioned that I don't like the RNG aspects, and that still holds true, but there are pities all over the place in this game where it really matters, so that is nice. And last time I said that AV can be rather grindy, now I realize this game is grindy as fuck. Is it the grindiest game I've ever played? No, but even if it's not difficult, it's still very time consuming, and sometimes even slow. Sometimes I even went, well, I'm just not gonna do it, to some of the grinds that I just don't think are worth doing or are just way too much. I'm generally still accepting of it though, because there's a ton of downtimes while waiting in between updates. I mean, just look at the downtime between 8.5 and 9.0. So yeah, plenty of time to get through things. But oh yeah, I had fun too.
Oh! Wait, yes, I just got Dio!
Really?
I can't even go on my mount. I got a service plan.
Oh my god, the lag!
Alright, bro. Which brain rot game? Which brain rot game? Shut us up.
Alright, are you guys gonna deal damage yet or what?
I'm dealing damage. Nobody here is getting MVP.
It's one Broly, come on!
So like you're gonna let me deal with the 700k boss by myself?
I'm upgrading my farms, bruh. No way, I actually just get 1 gold. Oh shit! Deadeye, I'll take that, bro.
Bro, roll off the Deadeye already, bro. That shit.
What?
What are you talking about?
Yo, if this game didn't have pity, man, I don't know what I'd be doing. Yo, what is AV even about anymore?
W trades.
We'll take that. Oh, there you go. I hit Monarch on Dia. Yes, bro. Oh my god. I am never, ever doing a grind this bad ever again. So the pacing overall for this video is probably going to be a lot faster and a bit all over the place compared to last video, because there's just a lot of stuff to go through and there's no way I could comment on every single detail, so I'll just try to hit the high points. I'll tell you right now that the bulk of the playtime in this video was prior to the anniversary update. So I have most of the anniversary units evolved, but I am broke on rerolls, so don't expect any crazy showcases or anything. If you want to see my progress for everything pre-anniversary update, or you want to see everything that's post-anniversary update, just check the description down below for the timestamps. So my goal right now is just to get more fun units and generally just see what else the game has to offer. I have a lot of fun using gimmicky units like Griffith and SSJ3 Goku. Or generally, I like anyone with flashy animations. They don't have to have a complex kiddo, they just look cool. So last time I pulled the JJK units who I really want to get done with their familiars ASAP because they're completely worthless without them. I evoed both of them and slowly worked towards their 25 stage clears. The JJK units are going to take a minimum of 10 days, which is annoying, but I'll have other stuff to do in the meantime.
Alright, are you guys gonna deal damage yet or what?
I'm dealing damage. Nobody here is getting MVP.
It's one Broly, come on!
I grind rifts until I have enough to get a Val stun to guarantee GG. I didn't record my runs after I got him, but I actually got 2 GGs in a row just off of the drop rate. I thought the Val stone made it so that every consecutive run would drop GG, but nope. My friend told me my luck was just good. It's pretty annoying that I got 2 of them after I used my Val stone, but it's whatever. GG's a pretty good unit, but I haven't really been using him much since I don't have any particular fondness for him and his kit isn't super interesting to me. I tend to like using characters more. I actually, watch the anime that they're from, and I haven't watched Undertale yet. But let me know if I should watch it. I haven't checked it out, like I said, but I heard it's pretty good.
So like you're gonna let me deal with the 700k boss by myself?
I'm upgrading my farms, bruh! So after him, I'm back to working on the Berserk units from last video, and I need to evo 2 Berserk characters before I can get Guts. So I get Smith done and Skull Knight. Skull Knight's pretty good, but the Smith is genuinely just so helpful to have as a +1. I really like the concept of a unit basically being a shop. One day my Monarch Smith is gonna go crazy. In between all of this, I evo Obito, who I was actually gonna ignore because I'll be for real, I really don't like the character. But I figured that I might as well get him since he only takes 5 days to get familiar compared to the 10 that the JJK units take. By the way, I know it takes roughly the same amount of time to get the 25 stage clears as the 5 stage clears of Obito, but I don't know, Obito's mission just didn't feel as mind-numbing as the 25 stage clears of the JJK units. I suppose it doesn't really matter that much since, like I said, it does take the same amount of time, and the 25 stage clears is technically better since you can get the stage clears on any stage instead of the Naruto Legends one. But in general, I kind of wish there was a more interesting method to getting these Vanguard familiars. Not easier or more tedious, just more interesting. Maybe something that could involve using the unit itself, because 99% of the time you're not even using them, you're just tagging them along. I don't really have any ideas for what they could do though, because I'm not a game dev, I'm a broke college student. And back to Guts, I activate the Eclipse with him and he's done. Not really intrigued by his design since he's essentially just a DPS beatstick, but that's okay. I don't really expect every unit to have a super complex or intricate kit all the time. He's gonna go pretty nuts with Broly, who gives Unbound units crit support, and my Guts also happens to have Deadeye if you paid attention to the last video. And speaking of Broly, after seeing my friend use him, I'm like, yeah, that's something I need on my account too. I don't even really care how good the unit is, I know obviously he's quite good. He just looks really cool and really flashy. So I look at Broly's quest and it's obviously quite a lot to do, at least at this point in time for me. But I'm at the point where my account can handle this grind and I really have nothing else better to grind for. So part 1 of the quest is to have Vegeta, Frieza, and Gogeta evolved, which I basically already have done except for Vegeta, but that's pretty easy, very simple. Next is the 10 clears for the dungeon, which again is very simple, very easy. And I think at the time when I was doing this quest, I thought it was a little tedious, but right now in the present day, I have a better understanding of what grinding actually means.
There's got to be a better way of getting gems besides Odyssey, bro.
You could give me money, like sell me money, and I can buy you the gems.
Hell no, bro. What's the? I ain't trying to buy no overpriced ass gems.
I think this Broly quest is pretty well designed, all things considered, because if you think about it, you're getting pretty good stuff along the way. Frieza and Gogeta are both really good units that you're gonna want to have, and the multiple clears from this dungeon means that you're gonna get a decent amount of rerolls and any other resources you might want from the shop. But here's the first major wall of the quest for me, which is to sacrifice 30 mythic units, and I really don't like this step. I just spam the summer event until I can get enough exclusives, and in hindsight, the most efficient way to go about this would be to macro the event, but I really don't like macroing if I can help it. I mean, I like to, play the video game, and honestly, I'm gonna go off on a bit of a tangent here, but I think there's a simple thing they could do to make these future Vanguard grinds feel better for new to mid-game players. And yes, I do think Broly should be somewhat accessible to newer players. I don't think he should be like extremely easy or free to get, but if you're willing to put in time for him, then you should deserve him. So like I said earlier, I like the early parts of the quest because getting those units and evolving them, plus running through the dungeons multiple times to get all the different shop rewards, flows pretty well for player progression. And I don't feel this though for the 30 sacrifice part. I don't think it should be changed to a lower requirement like sacrifice 20 units, since the intention is to, increase the length of the quest and they want to make it a bit longer, because if it wasn't for this part, then this quest would be very quick, very easy. But I think there's a couple problems I have with it. If you're a newer player, it feels pretty bummy to just have to obtain all these different mythic units and then have to sacrifice them. And also, it can be pretty mind-numbing just grinding currency over and over again. And it boils down to what's the most time efficient method of getting all of these mythics, which I find not very engaging. And it can also be pretty RNG too if you're just having like the worst luck possible and you're just like not pulling mythics until pity. All they would have to do is adjust the mission for future quests from sacrificing 30 units to sacrificing or obtaining 30 units. This would virtually have no effect for macro users or veterans, but I think it would affect a new player's experience a lot and keep the flow of the quest a lot more natural into their progression. So firstly, I think the evos should count as 2 units, so let's just say you obtain like the unevolved form that counts as 1, then you evolve it and that counts as another 1, so that adds up for a total of 2. Secondly, I think it'll encourage people to try out new events and get more units for their account's progression. So here's like a possible rundown of how a new player could go about things. Broly buffs unbound units, so it might be a good idea to get Guts, which is gonna need Griffith, and they'll get Skull Knight and Smith too, since you need 2 other Berserk units. And at this point, they should be able to do rifts, so they'll grab Gigi and Yuhaba, since they're good units to have. And the summer and anniversary banners are filled with good units, so that's like around 8 to 9 units that they can grab and then evolve. And just like that, they've gotten almost all 30 mythics required while being more actively engaged in the game and not doing something super mind-numbing like just running the summer event over and over and over again. And then lastly, this would be a totally optional thing, and if you want to just macro for currency, you can still do that. I don't think this addition would break the quest into suddenly being extremely easy, but we're back pretty soon and I sacrificed my 30 units for Broly, and the remainder of the quest is pretty straightforward. You basically just clear the dungeon a few more times and that's it. The quest was kinda lengthy overall, but considering the power of the unit you get, I think it's justified. And remember too that my account is only a couple weeks old at this point, so even though I had some issues with the Sacrifice 30 Mythics quest, I was still able to get this done reasonably quickly, and I would overall say it's not a horrible grind. All Z pluses. This is gonna be godly. I think this is for every Vanguard.
Each and every.
Can you unlock them? Yes.
Okay, that doesn't look too nice though. Swift 1. Are we serious?
I didn't know Vanguards had special summon animations tied to them, so that was pretty cool to see. I also rolled Deadeye on Broly, which I'll gladly take because that's his next best trait after Monarch, or so I heard, and I'm just not lucky enough to get Monarch. So in terms of performance, Broly is another example of a unit who's pretty straightforward. He looks really good while doing it though, because all his animations and effects make him one of the flashiest units in the game, and they did a really good job with him in that department. Obviously he does big damage too, like really big damage, but that's to be expected. I don't use him all the time, but he's definitely one of my favorite units to use whenever I do decide to pull him out. And then AV hits me with a random right hook out of nowhere with Obito. Oh shit! Monarch of Obito! It's crazy how Obito went from a unit I barely cared about to instantly being the center of attention for me in like 2 seconds. Obito admittedly is kind of boring to use, honestly. He's just a huge damage stick that can be replaced every now and then if you need to, like, you know, sell him and remove him. I almost hate it how this character that I don't like with a really basic kit is this strong, but the damage that he outputs is so good for his cost, and him being a free placement whenever I do sell him makes him way too useful. So I pretty much throw him on any setup and he works really good. So after doing all this grinding, I get Goblin Slayer from the Battle Pass, and I get Deadeye on him too, which is also good since he's unbound and he'll get the crit support from Broly. I like that he's not just a generic damage dealer, he's kind of like the Spike Factory from Bloons. And now my unbound team is shaping up to be pretty solid, at least in longer wave content, because it gets the job done in standard 15 wave content too, but it's pretty expensive to max out all these units when I don't have Monarch on any of them. So while I'm grinding for my familiars and levels with Gojo and Sukuna, I do the Guilty Gear stage just for fun, and I also heard that it's one of the hardest stages in the game, and wow, people were not lying. It gave me and my friend group some genuine trouble, but is it weird to say that I actually liked it? AV for the most part is not really difficult, so something that actually made us have to try out different strategies is more than welcomed. If we can get more harder stages like this down the line, I honestly will take it. Nothing insane that will turn the game's meta only towards difficult content, since I know that the bulk of players are very casual, but just something optional that gets the brain thinking or something to work towards for players who, you know, want a bigger challenge. I get Yohoba evoed from the Week's Rift, and he's another unit who I could just toss into a team and have him work pretty good. His cost to max out is kinda cheap actually for a unit that does as much damage as he does. And he makes for some pretty funny setups where you could just run a bunch of rares to Giga Juice him. I do wish I had a better trait on him than Solar, which is what I end up thinking for a lot of my units. These units are still good without Monarch, but man do I find myself wishing I had more Monarchs. I guess that's just a sign of me becoming a real AV player. And speaking of units that work good on basically any setup, Gojo and Sukuna are done, and they're both really good, really fantastic. Gojo is good with his time stop, it's helpful to pin down bosses and just wail on them, but I find myself using Sukuna a lot more, which seems to be the common take. That placement AoE he gets is way too good, and his support is amazing with cursed units. Skunai especially gets buffed like crazy if you run him, Sukuna, and Griffith all together. I use Sukuna all the time now. He's just such a good unit in terms of performance.
Deadeye, I'll take that, bro.
Bro, roll off the Deadeye already, bro. That shit.
What? What are you talking about?
And with all these new units on my sleeve, I clear through war lines pretty easily and I get Stark. It's very time consuming, but the rewards are pretty damn good. This might be another weird take from me, but I also like the weather mechanic. I kinda wish it mattered more, honestly. Like I said, I have so many units now that I want more excuses to just constantly keep using them and mixing things up and to, you know, break up the monotony a bit. I actually haven't used Stark a single time yet, believe it or not, and you can call me a fake Bleach fan because of this, or a fraud. I don't know, I kinda just even forget that he exists in my box, honestly, but I know he's quite good. So now I'm looking for some familiars to juice up my units even further, and I hear that birds are the best familiars, and judging by their passives, yeah, I could totally see why. So I tried doing the Sid raid a handful of times, and it's actually pretty fun. The gimmicks are pretty cool, for like 3 runs. Yeah, I can't lie, this is an example of a grind I'm just straight up noping out of, at least for the time being. AV has tested my patience with this one. Listen, I'm fine with the gimmick of the stage and how interactive it is in concept. The problem is the drop rate is so low for the birds on top of how active you have to be while playing this stage countless times, and all these gimmicks. I mean, I suppose it's justified because the bird is insanely powerful, but I'm still not touching this stage for the time being. I'm good. I'll come back to this another time if I have nothing else better to do. I get Astolfo, who I don't really have much to say about, honestly. I think it's just a pretty funny indicator to show how much time has passed since this video and the last one. A lot of people from my last video thought that footage was recent, but it's genuinely like weeks old, almost months old. I'm just slow at getting my videos out like the devs are getting their updates out. And after Astolfo, I get Escanor, and he's pretty uneventful, or at least it was uneventful to get him. I literally just had my PC on, and I actually caved in and used a macro. I don't like using macros, but playing the summer event hundreds of times was a huge no for me. That is just way too much grinding, and I could AFK for it in the time chamber, but at that point I might as well just macro. It's literally the same thing, but I get a faster result. I think I'll only macro for these seasonal Vanguards and do everything else in the game manually. That's fine by me. These devs, by the way, are super clutch for having pity on Escanor, because I would be so mad if I spent 3 million currency. Actually, it was more than 3 million currency. And if I spent all that and I didn't get him, I would be really, really mad. Even if you don't macro though, I think you could get him in time before he leaves just from AFKing. So I'll give the devs some credit for that. Yo, if this game didn't have pity, man, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'm using Escanor a ton to clear easy stages. I could just place him down and basically be done with it. I could place him down for moderate stages, and I sometimes do that if I'm feeling lazy, but I really try not to. I feel like Escanor can easily trivialize the rest of the game and make me forget about using my other units, but thank goodness he has that weakness to shields, so he's not totally going to just trivialize everything. But I'm definitely happy to have him on my account. You're not going to hear me complain any further about him. And the last thing before Anni is not too eventful, it's just the Valentine familiar and getting Tengen involved. I love his design, by the way. Valentines are pretty goofy and fun, you know, with the clone spam. I guess you could call him Funny Valentine? Yeah, no, just ignore that. And now we're here to the present, kinda. There's a ton of units to go through, both from events, There's a ton of units to go through, both from events and banners. Before even having to do anything, I already have Doomguy, Shiro, and the Knight. Before I can focus on summoning, I really want to get Doomguy evolved ASAP. I'm a pretty big Doom fan. I beat the original Doom, played some of Doom 2, beat 2016. I really love Eternal, that's my most played Doom game. And I played a little bit of the Dark Ages, which I need to go back to. And as a huge fan of Doom, I can say that they did a really good job emulating the essence of those games and the character of Doomguy with this unit. You can argue the unit himself could be stronger in some departments or could be tweaked, but that's not really what I'm talking about, and honestly that's not what I really care about. The constant weapon swapping and the glory kill passive is integrated so well into the unit. So if you haven't played modern Doom before, I'll break it down for you real quick. In Doom, you're highly encouraged to constantly quick swap through your arsenal to save ammo and maximize your DPS. You don't restock ammo and health in the traditional sense like you would imagine in other shooters like maybe Halo, where you reload and hide behind cover. Your ammo is tied to killing demons with the chainsaw and performing brutal glory kill finishes when enemies are low HP. And if you look at Doomguy's glory kill passive and animation, he restocks ammo by using the chainsaw. So like I said, they did a really good job with the integration. Real Doom fans would have definitely noticed that. Oh, and his active ability? Yo, what is AV even about anymore? Really fun and goofy. I would definitely admit, shooting enemies in first person, I've never done that before in other tower defense games. So after that, I set my sights out on clearing the entire anniversary dungeon. The early stages are nothing, they're just fodder basically. But Act 8 actually gave me a bit of trouble. I really like this stage, and I like that it's longer. It made me rethink my strategy a bit. And it's a one-time clear, so you won't have to constantly regrind the stage over and over. And it's also completely optional, because you can still get a decent amount of currency just by doing Act 7 if you can't beat Act 8. Also, I pulled out Goblin Slayer for the first time in a long while, and his traps were so clutch in shutting down the bosses on the last wave. Oh yeah, they do.
What about the giant in the back?
That's clutch. Yeah, he has 60 million health. I mean, look, if they managed to stack up their traps, they might be able to.
Actually, I got enough time for that though.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. They have to set. I forgot it takes time for them to set up the traps too, bruh. 12 million, 9 million, 8 million. There's still plenty of traps left. 7, 5, 4, 5. Oh yeah, they got it. Dude, Goblin Slayer actually clutched up, bro. Goblin Slayer, the GOAT, bruh. Yeah. Act 9 is the main stage to grind if you want cakes though, and it's a pretty cute stage. Fighting the devs and yourself at the end is kind of funny, and it's not difficult or long at all. I haven't found the need to macro this stage. It's really easy to get all the currency you need for everything, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of disappointed that this and Act 8 were pretty much the only notable stages that we got. We could have definitely used more new stages or even events to play. But in the units department, I think they did a solid job, at least in how interesting the kits are. Besides Doomguy, I think Spot, the Metal Gear Rising units, Hollow Knight, Godzilla, and the Konosuba squad were all really cool picks. Kit-wise, Wonder of You, Shiro, and Hollow Knight stand out to me as the most unique units, who, funny enough, all happen to be the event units. Especially Wonder of You, there's no other unit like him at all. As for how strong the units are, that's kind of out of my area of expertise, honestly. Oh, and I also pulled this guy. Oh, wait, yes, I just got Dio!
Really?
I mean, it goes without saying, but I have to get Monarch on this guy. I just have to. But unfortunately, my luck is pretty bad, and it looks like I'll be going to pity on him. Really sucks, but I suppose it's to even me out for pulling him this early without pity. It kind of works out since you get rerolls for evolving all the new units, so I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone with this Dio grind for Monarch. Oh, and I guess I should mention this too, the trading system got added, and I'm not really big into trading since I have basically nothing of value on my account, but it's cool I guess. Maybe I'll dabble in it more myself in the future once I actually, you know, have more units to trade with. Well, there you go, I hit Monarch on Dio. So I finally get my Dio Monarch, and I don't really have much to say about him. He obviously dominates, he's really fun to use. I love that you can swap through multiple forms and he has multiple active abilities. He's on my team all the time. To me, the grind for him was totally worth it, but unfortunately it means I have no rerolls basically for all the other anniversary units. If there's a units I should focus my rerolls on, let me know. But I've been teasing this all video. I've been working on him in the background, and oh my god, Vanguard, Sung, Jin, Woo. I'm not going to harp on it for too long because everybody knows how bad this grind is. This grind is atrocious, and based on the length of Broly's grind, even the devs know it. But holy hell was this just brutal. This is the only grind in the game I can actively say I hate. I'm never going to do it again. It reminds me of why I hate anime games in the first place. You get a lot of resources out of it, but the time it takes to do everything is just ludicrous. Like, the unit itself is really fun to use. Actually, they're really fun to use. Extremely fun. I love the design and animations. But may they never make a grind this bad ever again. I am never, ever, ever doing a grind this bad ever again. Oh, and I also got 10 against Familiar and Monarch Broly too. Yes! Yes! Yes, bro! Oh my god. So the grind for this game seriously has been nothing to scoff at. I mean, just look at the anniversary update itself with 13 different units to obtain. Has it been worth it? Well, it depends on how you would describe worth it, but like I repeatedly said, I'm having fun for the most part. This game will never hold a candle to real games, to be honest, which I think is okay. It is just a Roblox game, but I've sunk a ton of hours into it, and it's been a solid break from the other games I've been playing, and it's good to have on the side. If there's anything that's still keeping me here, it's definitely the animations and a lot of the units designs with their kits. As I've said before, I think you should only play AV if you think you are going to stick with it or have time to invest, because this game, man, it is so grindy. I think I'll keep playing it and making videos on updates, but I could foresee myself slowing down on playing as consistently as I have as of late, because I want this to be a game I play for an even longer period of time, and I don't want to burn out. But yeah, let me know what you would like to see from me in the future from AV or other games. I've been getting a lot of comments last video, and I'm probably going to see a lot of comments for this video too about ALS, which I definitely have noted down. That might be next. So yeah, let me know if you want to see that, and have a good one.